They can now take away your citizenship, even if you did everything right. A terrifying new trend is unfolding across America. Naturalized U.S. citizens, people who took the oath and followed the legal process, are now at risk of losing their citizenship. The Department of Justice has revived and supercharged the denaturalization process, quietly launching a wave of investigations and lawsuits that could impact thousands. This is no longer a theoretical threat. It's happening right now. Citizenship no longer guaranteed. For decades, U.S. citizenship through naturalization was considered permanent, the final step in the immigration journey. But in 2025, under the Trump administration, that protection is eroding. With over $170 billion in new immigration enforcement funding, denaturalization is no longer rare. It's becoming normalized. DOJ has reactivated a dedicated denaturalization unit and broadened the criteria. Investigations now include tax records, social media, old visa forms, marriage history, and even unresolved charges. And here's the most alarming part. You don't need to be convicted of crime. Just being accused or having a past immigration discrepancy can now trigger a review. What's changed in 2025? Historically, denaturalization was reserved for extreme fraud or national security threats. But now, the scope has exploded. New DOJ guidelines list national security risks, criminal charges, even without conviction, tax violations, and inconsistencies in past immigration forms as valid grounds. And they've introduced a vague new trigger. Cases can be pursued if someone is deemed sufficiently important, a term they haven't clearly defined. This opens the door to politically motivated actions, where someone's citizenship can be revoked without clear standards or criminal outcomes. Real cases already happening. In just 3 weeks this July, 4 Americans have already lost their citizenship. One case involved a man accused of misrepresentation based on information he had openly disclosed in prior immigration interviews. His attorneys say there was no fraud, just an inconsistency, and that was enough to strip him of U.S. citizenship. The process is civil, not criminal, which means there's no jury, no right to a court-appointed attorney, and the government only needs to prove its case with clear and convincing evidence, not beyond a reasonable doubt. This makes fighting back harder and the process much faster. Common triggers for denaturalization in 2025. Denaturalization lawsuits are now being filed against people who claimed to be single during a visa process but were later found married. Omitted arrests or minor charges from green card or asylum forms. Were affiliated with groups now considered subversive or dangerous. Made errors or omissions during past filings. Are now facing pending criminal charges, even without conviction. The list keeps growing. Even U.S.-born citizens are getting nervous. While birthright citizens can't be denaturalized, concern is spreading as the Supreme Court reconsiders the 14th Amendment and birthright protections. If a parent is stripped of citizenship, their children's legal status could come into question, especially for those who derive citizenship through naturalization. Civil case doesn't mean low risk. Because these are civil lawsuits, they move fast and offer fewer protections. If someone loses, they could be deported. And in some cases, the person ends up stateless, with their home country refusing to re-accept them. This is already happening. What naturalized citizens should do right now: request your full immigration file using FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Review old forms, green card, asylum, marriage petitions, check for inconsistencies. Avoid risky affiliations, especially anything political that could be misinterpreted. Consult an immigration attorney if you've ever had a visa denial, arrest, or filing error. Don't assume you're safe just because your naturalization was approved years ago. Final thoughts. This is no longer just about criminals or fraud. Denaturalization is becoming a tool used to reopen old cases, reinterpret past mistakes, and erase the citizenship status of people who have lived as Americans for years, sometimes decades. Citizenship in 2025 is no longer a guarantee. It's conditional, revocable, and under constant review. If you or someone you love is a naturalized citizen, Now is the time to stay alert, protect your records, and take action. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss urgent immigration updates from USA Alert Zone. We'll see you in the next video.